Hey guys, and welcome back to another Division video. Now today, let's take a look at this fun build. This is not a meta build or anything, but this build just focuses on rate of fire. Now I'm using 2 pieces of Striker gear set here and 3-piece Umbra. With Ninjabike, we activate the 3rd piece bonus of Striker, which is 15% rate of fire. And Umbra gear set also gives us some RPM rate of fire on its 4-piece bonus, and since we're using Ninjabike, we get to activate both the 4-piece bonus and the 3-piece bonus of Striker. Now, again, this is just a fun build. I think if you want to do more damage, go with Striker Obliterate with Chameleon. Okay, so for those people that are just interested in what the items are, we have Gunner for the specialization. There is a talent in this spec that gives us more RPM or rate of fire. For the main weapon, we're using Chameleon. For the secondary weapon, these are the guns that I suggest. It could be Tabula Rasa, it could be a Famas, it could be Invisible Hand. For the mask, we are using a Striker. For the chest piece, I'm using Umbra. For the holster, another Striker. For the backpack, I'm using Ninjabike. For the gloves, another Umbra gear set. And lastly, another Umbra for the knee pads. Now for the skills, it really depends on what you want. You could use whatever skill. I'm using a decoy here and a reviver. Now for the specialization, I'm using Gunner. Now the talent that you want here is this one, Barrage. Rate of fire increases by 5% on kill for 5 seconds. Now if you're planning to use Chameleon, also pick this one up. This is 15% increased assault rifle damage. Okay, now that's done. Let's talk about the main weapon for the build. This is the Chameleon. It's a exotic assault rifle. The stats that I have here is assault rifle damage, health damage, and critical hit chance. The talent that this gun has is Adaptive Instincts. Now, hitting 30 headshots grant us 20% critical hit chance and 50% critical hit damage for 45 seconds. The other version of it, if you hit the enemy on the body, hitting 75 body shots grant us 90% weapon damage for 45 seconds. Hitting 30 leg shots grant us 150% reload speed for 45 seconds. These are really good buffs, and you could activate all of this at the same time. And all of the buffs last for 45 seconds, which is a pretty long time. Now, since this is a exotic weapon, we can't really modify the mods that we have here. But it has 15% critical hit chance, 10% stability, 20% accuracy, and lastly, 20 plus rounds. Now for the secondary weapon, you don't really have to use this exact same gun. You could use whatever gun you want, but I'm trying to level up this one, Tabula Rasa. It's a named light machine gun. It has LMG damage, damage to out of cover, and I put here rate of fire just to be, more in theme of the rate of fire build. It has the talent Perfectly Steady-Handed. Hits grant a stack of 1% accuracy and stability. At 75 stacks, it consumes them to refill the magazine. Now the mods that I put here are critical hit chance, another critical hit chance, another critical hit chance, and lastly, plus 20 rounds, although it does give us minus 10 reload speed. Now for the sidearm, you could use whatever sidearm you want. We're not going to be using it anyway. Okay, so now let's go to the armor pieces. The first armor that we have here is Striker Battle Gear. I'm using the mask and the holster. Now, we only activate 3-piece bonus for this setup or build. The 2-piece bonus gives us weapon handling. The 3-piece bonus gives us rate of fire. Pretty simple. The core attribute that I have here is weapon damage, some critical hit chance, and critical hit damage. Now for the chest piece, I'm using an Umbra initiative. 2 pieces gives us 15% critical hit chance, 3 pieces gives us 30% reload speed. This is the reason why I didn't really use Bullet King, because Bullet King doesn't require you to reload, so I feel that this is a wasted stat. Although having Bullet King in this build is really fun because you get a lot of fire rate, right? But anyways, for the 4-piece bonus, we have From the Shadows and Into the Light. Basically, this means that when we're out of cover, we shoot much faster, and we're in cover, we regenerate armor. I will explain this talent later in the shooting range, but the stats that you want for this one is armor, critical hit damage, and critical hit damage mod. Now, since we're wearing the chest piece, it buffs the From the Shadows talent, increases max stacks from the shadows to 50 to 100, and the stack gain from 10 to 20. Next up, the holster. I'm using a striker holster. The stats that you want here is armor and critical hit damage. For the backpack, I'm using Ninjabike Messenger. We have weapon damage, armor, skill tier, and the stat that I put here is 12% critical hit damage. Now, it gives us the talent Resourceful, which means that it acts like a second piece for our other gear. So that's why we activate the 3-piece bonus of Striker, even though we're only wearing 2 pieces of it. And we activate the 4-piece bonus of Umbra, even though we're wearing just 3 pieces of Umbra gear set. Now for the gloves, I'm wearing an Umbra gloves. The stats that you want here is weapon damage and critical hit damage. Lastly, we have another Umbra for our knee pads. The stats that I put here is weapon damage and critical hit chance. You could put more armor if you want, but I think that, having 3 blue cores is enough for this build. Okay, now for the skills, since we're not really a skill build, you could use whatever skill you want. I'm using here a Decoy and Reviver. The mods that I have here is 7.5% health and duration. For the Reviver, I'm using Reviver Armor Repair, duration, and range. Okay, so before we start, let's take a quick look at the stats. This gear set or setup is based around Chameleon. I have here 60% critical hit chance and 108 critical hit damage. Now, if you're using a different gun, then maybe you change the stats or attributes that I mentioned earlier. Just try to reach 60% critical hit chance. Now, for the first talent that we're going to be talking about, it's going to be this talent that we get from Chameleon. It's called Adaptive Instincts. Now, I will aim at this dummy. We can see here at the left side, there are 3 hexagons. And the one on the top, that is the headshot buff. The middle one is the body shot buff. And lastly, the one down there, that is the one that gives us reload speed if we hit enemies on the leg. So right now, I will hit this enemy on the head. As you can see, the bar is filled up, or the hexagon is filled up, and now it's white. Now if we hit the enemy in the chest, it fills up that middle box right there. Alright, that's the Chameleon buff. Now the second talent that we're going to be talking about is the talent that we get from Tabula Rasa, and that is the Perfectly Steady-Handed talent. Hits grant a stack of 1% accuracy and stability. At 75 stacks, it consumes those stacks and refill the magazine. Right, so let's take a look. I will aim at this dummy. You can see on the left side, it is 0, but as soon as we hit it, or hit enemies with it, it increases. Right now, it's 38%, right? And if I reach the 75 mark, it consumes and refills our magazine. Now for the next talent, we're going to be talking about the one that we got from the Umbra Initiative gear set, which is From the Shadows and Into the Light. Now, right now I'm standing here. I will zoom in. We have that Phoenix icon at the bottom, the green one, that is into the light. That means that if we go to cover, it refills our armor. Now I will click this button here to damage self so that we are out of armor, like so. And I would take cover here, and as you can see, it slowly depletes, but we're getting some armor repair, right? It's not really a huge armor repair because we're not using the backpack. We're using Ninjabike as our backpack, but if we're using the original backpack for Umbra Initiative, the repair is much higher. Now, while we're in cover, we also got this new buff here. This is zoomed. If we zoom in, I think that's a bat. That is the other buff that we got, which is from the shadows. Now, basically what this does is that it gives us critical hit damage and some RPM, right? And since we're wearing the chest piece, it increases the stacks from 50 to 100. Now, in order for you to activate or use the From the Shadows buff, you need to be out of cover while you're shooting. So make sure that you're out of cover, move out, move back, and that will increase our RPM, also our critical hit damage. Now, another fun gun that you could use with this build, although you will probably run out of ammo if you use this, is the ACS-12 shotgun. Now, I have here 5% rate of fire. And let me show you the rate of fire that we have here. As you can see, it's a pretty fast rate of fire. It's pretty fun. But like I said before, you will probably run out of ammo because it's a shotgun. Anyways, that is the build. In the gameplay footage that I will probably be showing here, I'm not really using the Chameleon. I'm trying out the shotgun, the Tabula Rasa, also like a bunch of different RPM guns. I just try to like level these other yellow items, and I find that this build is really fun because, you know, it does give you a bit of RPM, which is very entertaining to watch and listen to. Anyway, that's it. This is just a fun build. If you want to do more damage, then I would suggest that you check out this other build. I think it's called Killing Strike. It's a striker build that uses Obliterate and Chameleon. But, you know, this is just, you know, maximizing the amount of RPM on like both the gear sets that we have. Also, some of the guns, I put some RPM mods there. Originally, the concept for this was to use that shotgun, but it was like running out of ammo pretty quick, so I decided to find a better gun that would suit this RPM type of build, and at the end it was Chameleon. Another good gun that I think will work pretty fun with this build is the Bullet King. Just the fact that you don't have to reload and just keep on firing. Unfortunately, it does not really benefit from the bonus that we get from Umbra, which is reload speed. But overall, I think that's a pretty fun gun to use as well for this build. That's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.